Hi there. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to work on a little moving pattern called 1-2-3 walking, developed by Leslie McDevitt for her Control Unleashed program. So this is going to be a walking pattern, a moving pattern. Patterns are important for our dogs. When we give them useful patterns that are predictable to them, it helps them in be able to work with uh, work with their environment at times when they're not quite sure what's going on. It helps them work with distractions. It helps them understand the pattern better, and it helps them understand the environment better. So in teaching a dog a pattern of predictability, it actually gives them confidence. It helps them know that when they go into an environment, no matter what happens, they have the tools and you have the tools to help guide them through it. It's sort of like when we learn a new computer program for the first time. When you first sit down and you learn that computer program, you get a new computer, you get a new phone, there's a little bit of trepidation and nervousness about the whole thing, right? Because we don't know how this all works, we don't know if something strange pops up, what to do with it. But once we learn the patterns of the programs and the applications, we feel better about using our appliance, our device, our computer, and it gives us confidence. So when something weird comes up, we're better able to handle it. So that's kind of the same thing with patterns. So this pattern today, as I said, is going to be called 1-2-3 walking. 1-2-3 is the verbal information that the dog is going to hear. And we're going to use that as we move around. So the first thing we're going to do is my buddy Cree here, who has done 1-2-3 walking before, but it's been a while, right buddy? We're going to work on that first, and I'm going to help you guys and show you how this goes together with Cree here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create some predictability to the 3. 1-2-3 is what the pattern is called, but you can call it ABC, you can call it ready, set, go, you can call it anything you want. 3 separate distinct words, and on the third word, that's when the treat comes out. So right now we're going to create that predictability to the 3 in this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a handful of treats, and I'm actually going to start with 3. And I'm just going to say 3, give him a treat, 3, 3, one more, 3. Now I'm going to back it up a little bit. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Back it up a little bit more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So once you've done that, the first 3 times you practice this pattern, your dog will understand the meaning of 3. And the 1 and the 2, or the A and the B, or the ready and the set, are predictors for your dog that something good is coming, and it'd be good to pay attention. So, how do we use this when we're out moving around? Good question. What we're going to do, we're going to come over here, and without Cree being on leash, I'm going to take a handful of treats. I'm going to hide everything so that he can't concentrate on my treat bag in my hands. And I'm just going to move. And as I move, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to show him the treat. I'm going to go again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden he's going, hey, I know this game. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now as you practice this the first 3 times, your dog will get used to the fact that as you move, when you say 3, he'll get a treat. Now how do we progress this? So you've practiced this 3 times in a row. You've practiced it in an area that's non or low distraction. It's important when we teach our dogs something new that we set them up for success by doing this in an area that's really quiet, really low, no distractions. So ideally in your home, in your living room if you can, then bring it out to your backyard, then you can take it into your front yard, then you can take it on the road. So what we're going to do is we're going to expand this a little bit. I'm going to move over here a little. 1, 2, 3. This also doubles really good as a recall. So now I'm going to put a few more steps in between my count, just to stretch it out a little bit. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, he's starting to understand what 3 means. What I'd like you to keep an eye on is as you play this game, especially once you get outside in your backyard, maybe a neighbor comes out, maybe a car door closes, maybe there's a great smell in the air. So you're going to notice your dog at times is going to disengage from you, which is good. But what we'd like to see is for them to go, oh yeah, that's right, I know what 3 means, and re-engage with you. It is absolutely okay, like Cree's doing right now, for your dog to disengage and look at their environment. It's very important for our dogs to understand that they have the ability to look at their environment and to gain information from it. That's extremely important. But what we want to see is them taking that opportunity to look at the environment, disengage from us, and engage again. The ideal situation is not to have our dogs walking, looking at us like Cree was doing with me just now. I much prefer Cree to be sniffing, exploring, looking at the environment, checking everything out, and then if I think he's getting a little distracted, I'll start the 1, 2, 3 counting pattern just to get he and I back in a little bit of a cadence, just to remind him, hey, I'm here, and just to remind him that once in a while I'd like him to check in with me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give him a little snuffle right there, do a little sniffing in the grass. Training is real hard work for dogs, and if we give them a little break, like tossing some treats on the ground and letting them sniff and find them, that helps their stress come down just a little bit. So I'm going to let him have a little sniff. Did you find them all, buddy? Alright. So let's try this with a leash on, just so that you guys can see a little bit of practical application here. Hi. Want to do this? So I've got the leash in one hand, I've got my treats in the other, and we're going to take a little walk. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now it doesn't mean you have to count forever when you're taking your walk. What it is it's just a pattern that you can pull out anytime you need to. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good boy. Good job. Yes. it goes. Go get it. So, this is a really good moving pattern game to practice with your dog. Remember, set your dog up for success. Start by having them understand the relevance to the 3. By counting 3, give them treats. 2, 3, give treat. 1, 2, 3, give treat. Practice that the first 3 times you play this game with them, just before you play. And then remember to practice in a non or no distraction environment first, then gradually move them into more distracted environments such as your backyard, then your front yard, then on a short walk. Always be sure to set your dog up for success. Have fun with this pattern. It's a great pattern and you'll find lots of uses for it. Thanks for listening. Happy training!